I just watched the recap, and I'm starting the Sunrise Temporary season 3, and this is my episode. This is my episode. Oh, wait, live reaction, live reaction. This is live reaction of Sunrise Temporary episode 1. Season 3, episode 1. Sorry. I think I remember saying before to you guys I actually wasn't gonna watch the show, and then it was like, bro, I think it's like people were talking about how television is back, and then like comparing it to like the sports, yes, how like the nation comes together when a team is playing, for example. And I think it's similar like that, it's the battle for Belly, the battle of Conrad and Battle of Conrad and versus Jeremiah, basically. And in the recap, because I basically forgot, like the whole thing in the matter is actually why I was hesitant to watch it was in the last season, it was like a blur for me, and I was like, I basically was gonna have to recap the whole season again, and that's so long. Like I did that with what was it? I did that with the Sandman. So yeah, I did that with the Sandman, and obviously that was long as well. So I just thought to myself, I don't want to do that with Sunrise Turned Pretty either. But it's a good thing the recap was there. I remembered most things, to be fair, like the fact that, yeah, she obviously released Conrad, but like obviously Conrad walked away. Like he walked away, like not because he wanted to, but because he just didn't want to get in between her and Jeremiah, even though she doesn't even know what she's doing. And then the fact of the matter, in the recap, she's like, oh, um, she says this thing where she's like, oh, what's it called? I've lost Susanna. And she's like, oh, but I don't want to lose Jeremiah and Conrad too. But that sounds bad greedy. What do you mean? You don't need to have both, by the way. Do you know what I mean? That's what's crazy. But I guess in a situation like this, like that's what I guess I've been saying before about love triangles. Like, I guess that's what happens. It's like you can't, like, it's not one of those things where you're going to make friends. Do you know what I mean? It's like you either have to choose, and there's nothing really else that you can do, to be honest. You literally can't do anything else than, yeah, you definitely can't do anything else but in a way have one person like be the one that ends up with nothing. Yes, that's why they use the winner takes it all, like, do you know what I mean? And the whole idea of even Meryl Streep, but she didn't know at the time, because she didn't know that Sam was actually waiting for her, but she didn't know because obviously she was with Bill on the boat, and that's why it was like she was confused, basically. Yeah, she was confused because obviously she thought he ran off with this woman while they were together, but like, I guess, yeah, he still kind of cheated on that woman. So it's like, it's crazy. I don't know. That's what I mean. Triangles are so tricky. That's what I think. I've never also been mad at Steven either, because I feel like, yeah, he'd always, I think he said to Belly before that like it wasn't fair of how she was doing this anyway, because I think that's even what I was saying about all of them. Like, they had this great summer and they were all together like I don't know, a four, like they were a musketeer type group, and we're like, hold on, 3 musketeers or 5, actually, scratch that. But just say like they were in a group, they were in a team format, and then it's like obviously she makes it all complicated, and it's like Steven is still friends with them, but then he has to, like, it's harder for him because they're his friends, but they're also both trying to date his sister, and it's just like, hello, that puts him in a complicated predicament. I was like, think of other people's feelings, Belly. Like, think of other people's feelings. Think about how it will put them in it. Like, you know what I mean? What they'll go through. Bro, it's not fair. Something about Jeremiah, with Belly being with Jeremiah, just, of course, the whole thing just feels forced. And I think it's because you know how much we've seen her with Conrad. I think that's what it is. And it's not even like I can't explain it, but I always said, or I think I've said it in episodes before, that it's like when Elena was with Damon, you could generally be like, oh, yeah, she liked him. And then she also started liking Damon. She also started liking Damon when her and Stefan were not together. And kind of also midway as well. So, and I guess maybe you could compare it and say they're doing the similar thing in this too, because then she's also liking Jeremiah while she's on a break with Conrad. Oh, we call it a break. Like, I mean, break speech marks, but we don't even know if it's really a break. But just as I miss that, like, we know where her true loyalties lie. When you look at it, it just looks so fake, you know? That's what I mean. That's what I hate, you know? Maybe it's like, yeah, you wanted to just at least appear real, you know? Like, but it's like when I see her with him, I'm just like, nah, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it, not even for a bit. And you probably don't believe it yourself. You're in denial also about said relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like, you like Jeremiah. You know what's so funny as well? I feel so strange because I think when I was watching the edits before I started watching this new season, I was like to myself, oh, why do I feel like I'm now not really on a side? Or it feels weird because I can't really choose now. But then I also feel like, oh, seeing Conrad be, I don't know, yeah, we want to call it, yeah, the other woman, but it's also like, no, he's the other man. But like seeing him do that made me be like, oh my gosh, like Conrad's not having a good time. And it just makes you feel like, oh my gosh, now we're swapping sides. This is what I spoke about though with Love Triangles. It's such of a tug of war and such of a ping pong. It even puts you through that too. I said, I'm not the one dating these guys. But it's like, why does it feel like, you know what I mean? You're also in complex feelings about the whole thing. I'm just like, I couldn't be able to tell you, Belly. I have no idea what you should do. And, you know, tops to you for, you know, doing this. And like I said, doing this above all when it's two brothers, you know. That's what I said, like that, do you know what I mean? A girl who does that, she's a stronger shoulder for sure. Because she obviously also, like, obviously she has to carry the whole guilt factor. Do you know what I mean? She has to carry that. And it's like, because she's carrying the guilt factor, sometimes she's not even enjoying it as much, you know? She's honestly not even enjoying it as much. Because it's like, oh, they're fighting over you. And you're just like, stop. Okay? You're like, just stop it and give it a rest. But it's sad when I feel like, yeah, when, like, a brother gives up. I also feel like, also again, with Stefan and Damon, also this is a lot of comparisons, but it's like, again with Stefan and Damon, it's like, I don't feel like neither of them necessarily even, neither of them necessarily gave up. That's the funniest thing. It never felt like that in the show. It never felt like that. Like, Damon, although he would see Stefan and Elena together, he was still persistent. Do you know what I mean? Like, the guy was there and he was like, what was it? He was still trying to make his charms on her until they worked. But this is what I'm saying. The thing of the matter is that I don't believe Belly's one. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Elena for a long time, she was fighting Damon's charms. So, do you know what I mean? It was believable. We could see it eating at her. We could actually see it eating at her. She was stressed. Like, we could actually see it. But with Belly, I'm just like, what is it that she's actually doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, no, it's just not true. It can't be true. The only reason also you guys can't hear the episode is because I don't want to get copyrighted, because that might happen. So it's better for me to, like, make interjections here and there. I mean, right now, obviously, like, it's even like I'll set the scene. Obviously, Belly's like at her window right now, and she's obviously settling into college. And I think, where did her dad just go? Yeah, her dad and Steven just went to help probably pick up more stuff. And then they were also obviously talking about Steven and Taylor's breakup. And obviously Steven and Taylor's relationship is way better than, bro. Belly's at the center of this show. But why is it Steven and Taylor's relationship is so much more right? It's so much more good, so much more interesting. Like if if it was just about Steven, I'd actually be hooked. But it's not. So what can you do? Yeah, another thing is the fact, like how I said earlier, is like, yeah, the edits in a way made me swap onto Conrad's side, which is crazy. But I think that that's an effect of season 3. That's what I believe. I was Team Jeremiah before, like obviously like in the earlier seasons. I should also defend my case, because obviously being a Jeremiah fan is really hard out here. People are like, oh, why do you like Jeremiah? Like, he's super cringe, this, that, and the third. But to be honest, okay, all I can blame it on is the fact that, as I said, and I've spoken about this before, but it's the second lead effect, right? And okay, I'm giving it a name, but it's a real thing though. Like, just the fact of the matter is that you find yourself always on the second lead side, no matter what, right? Well, that's me now, to be fair. Actually, no, that's me now as a girl who is reverting like out of love triangle. So it's like we can't help it but be on the second lead side. So that is how I came into the Summer I Turned Pretty. But now it's like even watching this new season and also seeing the edits of Conrad, where like he's giving second lead right now for some reason, because like the second lead is left out in the cold, like, do you know what I mean? The second lead, then you feel sympathy, then you're back on there. But do you know what's funny? Because Conrad is the main lead, technically, right? Technically speaking, he's the main lead, and it's like in this season he's basically becoming second lead if you think about it. But it's like, it's very confusing, but it's like, that's what I mean. So I'm saying, of course, again, that's my whole thing. I was not on his side initially, but I am now. Just want to clear that up. So, and I think, like, I don't know, it's weird because it's like, I never even liked, like, if I think about an example, like Twilight, I never liked... I mean, hey, I think I was on Jacob's side for a little bit of the films, like here and there. Because I guess it's funny because when Jacob used to talk to Bella about how different werewolves and vampires were, I was like, I thought to myself, okay, they are the, like, what's it called, safer option. It was weird. I was like, that's just, again, that's what Love Triangle tries to make you do, right? Do you just think to yourself, oh, who is the better option? Who is... Do you know what I mean? Twilight has you ask questions like, who's the better animal? And we're like, okay, you're both animals, you're both monsters. Which one is better? You know? Because we're like, oh, wolves, vampires eat people. And we're like, but don't werewolves eat people as well? We're like, you both generally eat people. So really, what's the difference? But then it's just like, I guess you could see that Jacob was more nurturing. He was more nurturing. And then I guess, like, then I guess when Edward leaves her, we're like, oh my gosh, like, he left her, and we're like, oh, if he could leave her, he must not care about her that much. You know what I mean? This is a good reference I'm using right now. Yeah, we're like, he must not have cared about her all that crazy. And then that makes you think, oh my gosh, then, the second lead is the better option. But like, obviously you care more about her than the first guy. So yeah, again, it's a lot of tug of war stuff. That's what I said. Like, I guess it's very interesting though. That's why everyone likes shows like this, because it's dramatic. You know, it makes you wonder. Even though I think lots of people was saying that they already know what the ending is going to be. Like I don't know, because I've not, yeah, exactly, I've not read the books, but I know people who've read the books are like, oh yeah, they know what the ending is going to be. So then I guess for them, you know, it doesn't even really matter. Sometimes I think to myself, people who do read books or even like mangas and stuff like that, they're the real MVPs, you know what I mean? Because they sit patiently and they wait, unless they're a hater, and then if they're a hater, then they spoil it just because they're rude. You know, like, that's it. They don't care for any, like, they're not bothered. They just do it for the name of the game, because they're like, oh yeah, well, I already have this information, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Do you know what I mean? And I hate that. Again, don't get me started on the whole, like, spoiler thing, because, yeah, we'll be here forever. Because I'm just like, I find it so strange, because it's like, why do I know the ending when the ending is the most, like, what do you call it? It's the most exciting part, because, you know, you're like to yourself, oh, what will the ending be? And it's like, oh, I already know the ending. We're like, oh, that's boring. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? People think it's more fun, I guess, to burst your bubble and let you know. So, yeah. But again, we're getting off topic. Yeah. So, Team Conrad for the win. And I mean, of course. Like, this is the thing, like, although he's although right now he's not on the like, best side, the guy is still the main lead, so it doesn't change anything. Like, you're actually going to be all right. Sure, you're going to be upset for a little while, but it's okay. It's like, yeah, the wrong quote. I always think of the wrong quote from Harry Potter. He's like, oh, you're gonna be miserable, but you're gonna be happy about it. Well, like, as if that makes any sense. That quote makes me laugh. Sure, I'm not the first person to say it, but Gavin, obviously, who plays Jeremiah, looks like Jeremy Sumpter, the young Peter Pan. Yeah. I said, hear me out on this one, but joking. It's not even a hear me out. Like, there is a comparison. Do you know when you tell you that two people look alike, and it's like, people are like, no, that's not even close, and we're like, sometimes it really isn't close, but with them, yeah, it is. I might even what's it called? I might even make a collage. Like, should I make it the cover of the episode? Maybe. Because I'm just like, yes, you look exactly alike. You could be twins. You should play brothers. I'm joking, because we're like, this is the right show for that. But then that's not what we're doing here, actually. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to, that's what I mean. You don't need to have two people in a role and make them look exactly like each other just because they're playing brothers. That's not what we're doing here. I know I've always thought that. Like, I've always been like, oh yeah, doesn't it make sense to do that? But I think to myself, it actually does not matter. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Not even a little bit. What was it? I'm at the scene where Taylor opens the door to Belly, and we're like, your best friend's brother is in the room, and you're opening the door that wide. Like, have common sense. Open the door, like, at least a crack. Like, even in those horror movies, open it up a crack, not too wide. Crazy. Who's Davis? Belly saw... Didn't Belly... Sorry, maybe I actually didn't pay attention, but I thought Taylor was kissing Steven earlier when Belly was talking to her mum. But maybe that was somebody else. I thought she knew Steven and Taylor were back together. Oh. This is what I mean. You need to have concentration in shows. It's actually crazy. I love Steven and Taylor's relationship is crazy. Is it toxic? What? No. Belly's situation is she's grappling two brothers. That's gross. Stephen and Taylor is 3 for all. Or are you trying to say because she's in love with her best friend's brother, is that bad? We're like, no. I don't think so. Even though I could see how it would be actually a tiny bit messy. But
what? Nothing. I can feel you.
I don't think they haven't really discussed it, I don't think. Going to Paris, she can't stay.
What was the news that you wanted to give me?
Crazy.
Oh.
I hate it when a man ties down a woman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
She could be doing so much more.
Taylor and Davis.
And it's because he's in the picture. She's like, oh no, I'm gonna put my dreams on hold. I said, sorry. I said, sorry. Go after your dream. Forget the man. He can wait. Crazy.
Stephen and Taylor.
Then again, actually, this whole show is a mess, to be fair, anyways. Yeah, Stephen and Taylor, obviously, they're both cheaters. But that's whatever. The show is a mess. Everyone's all over the place. Nobody knows what they're doing at this point.
I'm not going anywhere.
I mean, but Belly does, in a way, actually. She was just about to go to Paris. But now she's not going anymore. So, yeah. Think about it. Yeah, these are bad people. I was like, no, Stephen and Taylor, yeah, they're bad people. Just because obviously affairs are very, very bad. You should never, ever have an affair. Of course, this is what I mean. It's so difficult because in the grand scheme, I want them to be endgame. But it's like, what are you guys doing right now when you're in relationships with different people? Like, it would be so better if you broke up and you carried on doing what you're doing, but you're like, oh, it makes it more fun if you do it while you're dating somebody else. That logic, you know what I mean? We're like, that logic will never make sense to me. I'll never get it. But, do you know what I mean? Kudos to you guys. Kudos to you. Funny is I actually did this the other day. The three-legged race. When I say the other day, I mean the 21st of August, I did three-legged race. And bro, three-legged is not easy. I'm like, how did Belly and Jeremiah just win as well? Because it's like, obviously your leg is attached to another person, so it's like they don't move the same. And obviously somebody fell over in this episode, and I was like, that was almost me. Like, I actually did almost fall over. Like, I was running, and then I was running and I felt myself almost falling. But again, actually, no, I held on to the other person. That's what I think you need to do. And then I think people said the key tip as well is being in sync with the other person. Even though I still just think that's very difficult. But I guess you just have to try your absolute best. Like, as in you have to move your legs at the same time. Like, don't obviously move one over. Because that means you definitely will fall. We did Twister as well. Our sports days all the same as well. That's crazy.
Sure.
Jeremiah also had to answer it.
Hello?
Belly.
You want Conrad to take your girl? Up to you. We're gonna have a catch up. You're not friends.
Talk for a second alone. Oh, yeah, I was gonna jump in the game.
Yeah. Thinking that they were gonna catch up or something. That's weird. Write this show because I already know that Jeremiah's gonna be upset when she tells him that she wants to go to Paris. It's not a news flash. It's standard. And that's exactly what Jeremiah is like anyways. Sorry. I don't mean, like, do you know what I mean? Like, even, I guess, actually crazy. Because I've been on that side before, I obviously know. I know what Jeremiah is like. I know he's going to be upset. He's going to act like he's not. And we're like, but you are. You get it? But you are upset. And actually, no. What I mean is he's the type to let everybody know he's upset. It's not even a thing like, oh yeah, he's upset. He's gonna keep going on about it. Do you know what I mean? Which is like, shut up. Like, that's a crazy thing. Just be quiet. But yeah, and also, why does their Twister have why does it have small, why does it have faces on it? Sorry. I know this is, there's no signs to zoom in on, but I'm just like, that's really weird. Oh, Jeremiah is cool with his dad. It's literally what's so annoying about, I don't know, like, siblings in general, what is all that about? Why would you compare both of them? There's no need for that. Do you know what I mean? He's like, do you think your brother would ever do anything like that? We're like, no. Of course Conrad wouldn't do that. He gets everything. He's a winner. He's amazing. We get it. That's just so crazy. And see, this is probably my reminder that's making me feel like, oh, that's why I was on Jeremiah's side, you know? I was like, what is that about? Like, it's probably like not Conrad. Jeremiah's always felt like he's on the outside, and he wouldn't also, like, even him being with Belly now, he's like, oh, he's never going to get the girl. And I'm like, you can, and you should. You should be allowed to be with her for a little remainder of time, at least. You know, not to say that you're going to be with her forever, but you'll have your time. You'll have your moment, you know. And it's not to say that you don't deserve that, like same as much as Conrad does. Hey, that's what we're saying. That's what's so crazy. I just think, obviously, when a parent does that, it makes, the siblings kind of have problems anyways. And just like, friction and yell at each other, basically. But yeah, exactly. We'll just like read the room. Because that's what I mean. She's one of those main characters, you know what I mean? She doesn't think about how the other person is doing. We're just like, you don't read the room ever. It's not all about you, you know? Even though, you know what I mean? You're at the center of the program. But again, doesn't mean it's all about you. It's like, exactly, I think I was seeing someone talk about watching season 2 and how, you know, Belly was giving Conrad a hard time while his mother was, his mother was passing. She was not well, and she was, like, on his case. And it was like, don't you see that the guy is grieving? Like, give the guy some room. Like, you know what I mean? Give him some room. Or don't just, like, you know what I mean? Don't ask for too much. Like, I guess when someone's grieving, you're just there as support. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Like, you know what I mean? You're there as an active listener. And, yeah, you should not be asking for things, you know? So, that's what's crazy. She just did that now. Like, in this episode of her and Jeremiah being in the car. And she's like, oh, the dinner's on. The party's on. And we're like, did you not just hear the conversation I just had with my dad, who told me that, like, I'm not being an adult, and, like, he says that I'm, like, you know, exactly, that I'm childish, I have to pay him back. Like, you heard all of that, and I know that you did, because you were right next to me. And then you're gonna say, oh, you should come to that thing, and we're like, no, actually, we're just gonna stay at home, and we're just gonna think about the conversation we just had. And we're going to think about what we're going to do next as well. But yeah, and you know, she's probably Belly being Belly. She's in another mind about the fact that she wants to go to Paris. Which, like, again, another sign of not reading the room. You know what I mean? You're thinking about, oh my god, I need to go to Paris. But you're not thinking about, oh yeah, Jeremiah's having a horrible time. He's going to be struggling in debt. You know what I mean? You're going to be struggling in debt soon. And you're just like, oh, I'm going to have to leave soon. But I won't. That's crazy. But then, you know, of course, I was just saying before in another breath that, like, yeah, him wanting her to stay is also, like, obviously not fair. Because, of course, she should be able to go. And they should be able to also, exactly, make long distance work, or whatever it is that they want to do, basically. So, yeah. I just mean, Betty's wrong for what she was saying afterwards. But her wanting to leave, actually, her wanting to leave is not that big a deal. Because, obviously, relationships should be able to make exactly long distance work. It's a core thing. Do you know what I mean? If you can't do that, then it's probably an issue. But then I feel like knowing Jeremiah also, he probably would not be too keen on that idea, because he might get insecure. I don't know. You know what I mean? And again, his insecurity lies in the fact of what his dad was saying to him, of, not being, I don't know, the better brother or whatever. Like, I think that's probably where it lies. That's why he has so many issues. Do you know what I mean? But that's just what happens in these scenarios. Like, the other brother just has a hard time thinking he's able to do anything right, you know? And of course he's the one that's struggling, and he's holding his head above water, and you have Conrad doing what? Great stuff. He can't even show up for his mum's thing, like his mum's ceremony, because, his life is so great. So, do you know what I mean? But the thing of the matter is, actually, when I say that Conrad's life is so great, I feel like obviously it's also not, because, you know what I mean? He was also in this episode, obviously talking to that guy about how he had doubts about even going back. So I guess he also wasn't that great as well. So it's not even, that's what I mean. It's not even to say one is better off than the other, because they both, exactly, they're both probably having issues. And then the whole segue into, Belly dating Jeremiah and Conrad. Yeah, Conrad being on the outside. The window is crazy. Modern day Romeo and Juliet. Absolutely. Stephen and Taylor. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And it's crazy because, as I said, they're bad people. But it's just like, wow, you guys are so good.
Well, I mean, we actually kind of just talked about
and
what's been going on with me.
Break up with your, what's it? You break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored. You said, hurry up. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you remember?
That's what I said to you guys earlier. I said, why is it that, like, you can be more invested in their relationship than Belly and Jeremiah? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what do they have going on?
When?
Yes.
Really? Do you know what I mean? What do they have going on? Sorry, Jeremiah, you surprised me. The fact that he wants her to go.
Maybe I just don't want to.
I'm sorry that you're an okay-ish guy. That's a bit annoying. The favorite thing that I love, like, see in those last few minutes of the episode, right, is when a guy looks at a girl's lips. The fact that he's not listening and he's looking at your lips, but he's not listening to what you're saying. It just makes me sick, bro. I just like, I actually want to throw up. But throw up in the fact that, do you know what I mean? It's so good. You know what I mean? You just see the eyes divert. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, wow, it's so good. And it's the best move of all. Like, imagine making a move list. That one, top 3, bro. Like, it's smooth, it's classic. Can't go wrong with it. Even Steven doing the pebble thing, that's also in the top 3. And again, because it makes you think about, remember that whole boombox thing, makes you think about that. And again, that's top 3. And maybe that might be my top 3. I just made it just now, where, like, eyes looking at lips, pebbles throwing, boombox, done. Classic. You guys thought I would have mentioned something about flowers or any of those, but those are cliches. I mean, the other ones I just mentioned are too, but then the flowers one is such, like, a normal, like, popular one. Like, the flowers thing gets done all the time. Do you know what I mean? Someone brings you flowers on the first date, for example. Flowers when you have an occasion. Or just like, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, you want the ones that I just mentioned, they are ones that you, like, take out of the hat, and they're big, massive moves. Do you know what I mean? They're big, massive moves. So that's why that list is goated. That list is great. Who's this Lacey person? Like, that was really weird. That was really weird. They'll probably come back to that, won't they? That is a future plot line. That weirded me out a lot. Agnes asking Conrad, has he ever been in love, reminds me of the next question. We said, next question. Has he ever been in love? Yeah? Crazy. Let's not talk about it ever again. Good Luck Babe is such sick behavior. The creators are sick. How could you play that song in that timing as well? Nah, sorry. And what annoyed me was Conrad saying that he blames himself. We said no. No, Conrad. No, Connie, no. That's not true. What happened was, it was out of your control, bro. We're sorry, but it's okay. You'll get her back. Don't worry. Yeah. So, after all of that, reached the end of the episode. Of episode 1, season 3. Damn, that episode was a lot. Like, that was really a lot actually. I went through so many different emotions. And it's like, how crazy is it that, yeah, the Coughlin brothers is just always like, they're messing Belly up. Like, sometimes I like to point fingers at Belly and call her the bad guy just because it's like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, she has 2 brothers at her, you know what I mean? She has them there. So when I think about it, I think to myself, oh, isn't she kind of, isn't she kind of self-centered, selfish, you know what I mean? You put all those labels on her, but then in the grand scheme, well, like, the boys, they also drive you a bit nutty. We can't lie about that. They're a bit crazy. Why is it they say they love you so much, but they put you in so many different predicaments where, you're having such a hard time. Like, I guess when Conrad even said to Agnes that he wasn't a good boyfriend, I thought about the fact that I guess him and Belly's problem was that they had a lot of miscommunication issues. They had that a lot. So I think even though I never thought how Belly was acting last season was great. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I was like, obviously Conrad was grieving, so I was like, she didn't act that great, honestly. But then I obviously thought about the fact that, yeah, Conrad never really was very direct with her, and like he didn't, like, you know what I mean, he didn't open up to her. And I was like, that's obviously what I was saying before about the whole idea of when somebody's grieving and being there to support them. Obviously, if they're grieving, you want them to be able to lean on you and also like let you be an heir. But obviously Conrad wasn't even really doing that last season, so it felt like they were both super like alone in their grief when really they should have been connected, like, the Kendrick Lamar song United in Grief. They should have been connected, and like they should have been able to, like, what's the word, I don't know, like bounce off each other, but then also it's like makes you think they should have been able to like trauma bond or whatever. Not that trauma bonding is great, but hey, if you're both going through something and you're together, you both have to like vent that out to one another, basically. That was basically their issue. Obviously Jeremiah's cheating. Hey, that's just like, I think that's just a classic kind of turn of events, because, do you know what I mean? Because they want us to see that the second lead is awful, basically. As I said, they do that a lot. Like, I guess they make it seem like the second lead's all they're kicked up to be, and the second lead does something crazy, like, I don't know. Yeah, does something crazy, like, doing something crazy like this. And then it was just like, oh, classic second lead guy. Do you know what I mean? Just one of those, just one of those spanners in the works. And it's like, I think, and also they want to set it up like this because then I guess it's a reason for Belly to run back to Conrad. So yeah, it's a reason for her to get back in touch with him after the fact that obviously they had that short call on the phone, but he immediately hung up on her. But obviously this gets her to come back into contact with him, and probably kind of pit 2 brothers against each other again. You know, all that great classic stuff, right? Just putting them against each other, letting them fight it out, and all that good stuff. Like, even when I obviously keep talking about TV, Vampire Diaries, but like, it was always so funny when Damon and Stefan would actually fight. Like, they'd actually be in proper brawls with one another, and it was really funny because it was actually we were like, it was not that serious. Why are you fighting? You don't need to, basically. You don't need to, okay? But and I guess even I feel like, yes, Comrade and Jeremiah have had a fight already. I believe so, actually. I want to say, but if they haven't had a proper one, they've had a verbal at least. Do you know what I mean? They may not have had a fisticuffs fight, but they've had a verbal fight. That probably counts. But in hindsight, I'm actually glad that I've started this new season. Like, I'm thinking to myself, from this first episode, we're in for a good season, actually. Basically, I'm surprised also that there's 7 out now as well, and it's basically not finished yet. But not for me. In my head, I'm like, I'm just gonna catch up, or probably, I feel like by the time probably that I catch up, actually, it'll probably be finished, to be honest. But that's fine too, because then I can take my time with it as well. So that would be nice as well. But I'm just really excited to see how, the rest of the story will unfold. Even though, as I said, it's like, I feel like The Samurai Temperate is one of those shows that you feel like you could write yourself, and sometimes there's no fun in that. Sometimes it's kind of like when where a show is heading and like where it's going, and you can say, oh, this is gonna happen, and then you can just tell. Do you know what I mean? Even like how, I guess, in the episode you see how, what's it, even because I guess even I knew that obviously Jeremiah was gonna cheat on Betty, and I think I knew because I'd already seen stuff online, as I said to you about, hence me talking about spoilers earlier. But I saw that, but then the fact of the matter is, you could obviously already tell with the foreshadowing and the way that at the party Betty was talking to Lacey, and you could see it just seemed a bit like weird, and it seemed a bit tense in the air. So you could see that there was some kind of history there, and the fact that also Jeremiah quickly whisked her away as well. So that means he was already feeling guilt already. Like, he was already feeling that already. So obviously he decided to jump in there and just say, yeah, we're just gonna go. And then he had the cheek to start singing what's it called, Dilemma. Like, do you know how good that song is? And you're gonna sing Dilemma? Actually be so for real. Like, have shame, at least. That's what's crazy. And I think, a lot of people, when they cheat, they never have shame, as in, like, they'd never want to be outright. Like, that's what I mean. Even that's obviously what Betty was trying to say to Steven, like, you're with this Mia girl knowing full well that you love Taylor. And then he was like, oh, he made it like, what's it called? He made it such a weird excuse, being like, me and Taylor have, like, we've always hooked up when we've both been single. And we were like, well, you're not single now, though. So what is the point of you bringing that up? It doesn't help your argument because you're not single and you're acting like you are, but that's what I mean. Like, that's delusional because you're not. And it's like, it would be so easier if you just broke up with that person in the first place. You were honest with yourself, and if you're honest with yourself and you just broke up with that person instead of stringing them along, like, that's the crazy thing. And then how crazy was it that, anyway, Jeremiah said, he sat with her when they were on a break. I don't believe in breaks. I don't think people should have breaks, by the way. Like, I think that's weird, because that's what I mean. That's why these kind of situations happen. Like, you guys have a break, and then one of you gets upset that during said break you're engaging with other people, but it's like if you didn't call it a break, then there would be no misunderstandings. And so you see, that's again another layer or another example of miscommunication. And I think a lot of these shows, like shows like Summer I Turned Pretty, always have miscommunication at the root of them. Like these can never communicate for nothing. And I think, of course, them not being able to communicate is a way to make it more dramatic. But it's just like, it's so weird as well. Because you guys should be able to communicate. You're in adult relationships. And like, if the first thing that you, like, the first thing that you can't do is like not communicate, then I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know why you're also in said relationship either. Like, it's just crazy. But, because I guess also when I was saying about Conrad and Belly's relationship, I was like, with their miscommunication, that was well and fine because they were going through a general, like, life disaster experience, right? Like, that kind of situation is groundbreaking. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I think that's one where you can be like, okay, so you guys miscommunicate with each other because Conrad just lost his mum, and that obviously was like life changing for him. So like that makes perfect sense. But that you guys are not doing like standard stuff that like lots of other people can do is like very scary. You know, not even how yeah, Jeremiah's dad was talking to him, being like, be an adult. Like, do you know what I mean? You're already failing at, being able to have honest conversations. Do you know what I mean? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, as in, I guess if you cheat, say that you cheated right away. I mean, what's the sense in waiting? And like, I'm like, don't you feel guilt about like carrying it on while doing it? Like, that's the thing. It's also, again, you can go back to Stephen and Taylor. They're like seeing each other, but they're also seeing other people. And we're like, you guys are not thinking about those other people. And that's very scary because they believe they're in a relationship with you, but then you're in a relationship with somebody else. And you can't be in two relationships at once, even though, do you know what I mean? It can be debated, it seems. But hey, bro, I did it for the game, I feel. And I know what else it was. Like, yeah, TikTok influenced me. And yeah, that's basically it. TikTok does that a lot though, to be fair. You know, when it's like TikTok, this is what I mean. I spoke about this before, but TikTok has a way of like bringing stuff to your attention, and then it's like because you see it so much, and I think because it's also the habit of doom scrolling as well, like you'll doom scroll for such a long time, something will come up, it will keep coming up as well, and then like I guess that's how it plays on your mind, and that's how it influences you to like watch it, basically. Like that is basically what happened with Summer I Turned Pretty. Because honestly, I was out here saying I wasn't gonna watch it, and now look at me. Just I feel so much what's the word? I feel so much shame. I said I wasn't gonna watch it, and now I am. And yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of my live reaction. I don't know if I'll be filming, if I'll be recording, sorry, not filming. I'll be recording another live reaction. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I guess we'll see. I feel like it will be better actually in the way actually to do one when the show ends, because that would be great. And that might be the better way to do it. That's why I wanted to do one episode now, but I think to wrap it all up would be great. To like obviously touch up on everywhere. So that's obviously quite fantastic. Like seeing, for example, seeing all the stuff about Squid Game. Like Squid Game finished, and there was obviously so many different discussions and video essays and everything like that. People talking about how they felt the show was not done justice, or these kinds of stuff. And I guess, do you know what I mean? That's what you have, yeah. That's what you have to look forward to. I mean, when a show ends, it's a great way to reach the conclusion and to see what you think about said conclusion. But yeah, thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode. Be sure to also, because I added something to my links bar on YouTube today, which was obviously the Cine Show's Instagram, and you should definitely give it a follow. And it's at, like, I'm sure it's Cine Shows. It's Cine Shows Podcast. I believe, like, that's the account name. I'm just getting it up now just to be sure. But it is, yeah, no, it definitely is Cine Shows. It definitely is Cine Shows Podcast. So yeah. And basically I kind of, on that Instagram, like, obviously I feel like I update my listeners on TikTok as well, but it's like Instagram is also another great place for me to update you on episodes to come, and also just kind of, I think what I started doing on the Instagram page was also doing video recommendations, and that was video recommendations, sorry, I mean movie recommendations, and that was really fun, by obviously telling people what movies they should be watching. That was really exciting. So yeah, so I'll be sure to do that there more on Instagram as well. Yeah, and that's why I feel like, of course, I feel like the podcast is obviously more active on TikTok, but like, I do think, obviously I only made the Instagram page recently, so I think it would be good to also be on there as well. But yeah, see you again, and thank you again as well.